Today's topic is going to be on the subject of replacement leads. Specifically, I had a student, someone that's been training with us for a while, write in a question wanting to know how do they compare to everyone else when it comes to their replacement lead setting ability. So I want to answer that question, and I'm going to use some real math behind it today as well. But let me share with you specifically what the question said, just to make sure that we are all on the same page here and that the facts are represented. Also, by the way, I was able to get a lot of the math here, a lot of the real numbers from the person that submitted this question. So from Jason C., here is the question that he submitted. It says the following. Hey Todd, I have a question for you. I see selling techs getting recognition for their great feats. But to be honest, what would be great numbers for a tech that can't sell replacements? I did $226,697 in revenue, and I set 174 leads. I know that these, by the way, I set 174 leads, which sold $504,739. I love, by the way, that Jason has his numbers. He knows exactly what they are. I know these have been some of my best numbers ever, but compared to others, how do they stand? And I know these numbers are better since we've been using service excellence training. Thank you for your time. Well, Jason, you are very welcome. Thank you for submitting this question. I think it's an excellent question. I think it is one that is deserving to be answered well, and I believe it's going to benefit some other folks as well. So what I've done, Jason, is I've written down a few numbers here in my book, and I'm going to share them on the board here. And this is going to be good for you to get sort of a reflection in answering the question, how am I doing? And it's also going to be good for everybody else as well. So just to put the numbers down, all right? First thing, in your service revenue, okay, so I'm going to write service revenue right here. You said that the number that you produced was $226,697. So there's your service revenue, all right? And the question that I had asked in a follow-up to you was, do you know how many service calls you actually ran? So that's going to be an important number as well. And you did answer that question. So in 2019, you ran a total of 737 service calls. So if we want to start off by asking the question, we're going to look at the whole thing. How did you do related to your average ticket? Okay, so if we are going to take the total of the 737, and that's what we're going to do, so 226, and actually I said how many total calls, so that may very well still have maintenance and other items in there, but we're going to just put them all into one bucket for now. Divided by 737, so you had an average service ticket of $307.59. So that's the first thing, right? Now, how is that number, comparatively speaking? Let me say it's good. For heating and air conditioning, to run 737 calls, have an average ticket of $307.59. Now, I don't have every single detail, all right? So we could dive a little deeper. But on average, if we're going to talk about on average, I would say that is very, very good. I would say that is upper middle classification for how you're doing. You're doing a really nice job there, so very fine. Now, let's take a deeper dive into this, okay? And let's talk about the number of leads that you set, all right? So you set, I believe that you said, and I'll double check here, but I believe you said that you set 174 leads, okay? So we got 174 leads right here, divided by this 737 calls that you ran. So if we want to say, what is this as a conversion percentage? 174 divided by 737. So that's an average conversion percentage of 23.6%. 23.6%. Now, here's the thing, Jason. To answer the question without knowing other facts, is it good? the answer is, yeah, it's good. You're setting a lead 1 out of every 5 calls on average that you're going to. That's really good, Jason. I mean, that's fantastic. I don't think anybody would have issues with that. Now, there is a small caveat, and Jason, I don't know the details on this, so I'm going to put this to you and let you think through it, okay? But the small caveat, the minor variance might be if we looked into this 737 and we asked the question, what is the average age? That might be a variance, right? Because as I start to see guys that get 23.6%, that's really great. I'm going to want to, as a service manager, to send guys like you to systems that are older, which means a higher probability, which means we're going to see that number go up. So without knowing all of the details, I'm going to say this sounds like a great, great number. But what I would also stress to everyone listening is that your conversion for leads should definitely be going up as you are going to older and older systems. 23.6% would not be a good conversion rate if every system you went to was of lead quality. 23.6% is a great conversion rate if you're only going to say 33% of the calls that are within that replacement range. But as a whole, with knowing what I know, Jason, it sounds to me like you're doing a great job there. All right, so cool. So let's take a look at the other side of this now. And the other side of this equation is, in essence, how do our sales look? And what we're going to look at is we're going to look at how the conversion percentage is coming off, all right? So what we know is that in total replacement sales, you gave us a number of $504,739, all right? So we know that's what was sold off of those leads that you had set. $504,739. What we also know, based off me asking you, when I said, hey, what in essence is the average replacement sale that you're going for? You gave me a number on that. So hang on just one second. The average replacement number that you guys are budgeting for is 935. Oh, there we go, 935. That's the average replacement sale. So we're able to, from this math, break out essentially how many you sold. So just to kind of put this out there, 504, and I say you sold, how many were sold from your company, I should say. So hang on just a second. Off the leads that you set, divided by 9350. All right, so that would average essentially 54 sold jobs, all right? So 54 sold jobs. Now here's where the next piece of the equation comes in. So far, let's kind of evaluate what we have learned here. 226 in service revenue on 737 total calls all in, a 307.59 average ticket. I would say that's good because I would be willing to bet that's got maintenance in it. I'd say it's really good. Without knowing more details, sounds good to me, right? Total of leads, 174 out of 737 for a 23.6% conversion ratio. Again, Jason, sounding good. Total number of calls, we produced $504,000, 739 off a 93.50 average, which is 54 sold. So now what I want to do is I want to ask the question, how are we doing here, right? So this is where it gets interesting to me. So if I go 54 and I divide that by 174, this is the first time when I see a number that I'm not necessarily thrilled with, okay? So 54 divided by 174, that's going to equate to a 31.03% closing rate on replacement leads from a service tech. Okay, so I'm not thrilled with that. Replacement leads from service techs typically close at a much higher percentage than that, Jason and everyone that's listening. I never want to see anything less than about 60%, and realistically, I believe that we can be getting closer to 70, 75, even pushing 80%. Now, so here's the thing, right? I don't know where that closing percentage challenge is coming from, but now that I'm aware of it, I'm definitely going to dig into it a little bit more. All right, I'm going to get with the coach. We're going to figure out where that is coming from. So what I want to do, Jason, since I'm talking to you and I'm answering your question, what I want to do is address how can we make sure that these leads that you are setting have the highest probability of closing, and we're going to address what you can do as a lead setting tech. That's what we're going to address, is what you can do, sir. And then we can address in a different scenario what the advisor can do, all right? So I'm going to erase these numbers. By the way, as mentioned, all looking great. You know what, before I erase these numbers, let me grab a photo of that. There we go. We'll upload that to our network. All right, so let me erase these numbers. Here we go. And now, what we want to do is we want to work on boosting this number right here, Jason, okay? And how we're going to boost this is by doing all the things that we can do as a service tech to make sure that we're building the most value. All right, and I've got it broken down here for you in 4 steps. So 4 steps, all right? Number 1 is I want you to do a really, really great job of repair versus replace. All right, I want you to do an amazing job of that. And Jason, I know you know what that is. For everyone else that might know what it is, it's in essence showing how much it's going to cost to repair and keep this older system over time, as opposed to the potential of investing with a replacement item. Now, if you're setting leads, you're not necessarily going to answer how much is a new system. You're going to leave that open for the comfort advisor. But I really want you to do a great job of unpacking what the repair totals are going to be if they keep it. All right? That's step number 1. Step number 2 is that I want you to make sure that you can check off the box in the pain process, the pyramid of pain, if you will, where you're stimulating interest for the client. I want to make sure that you can check off the box that the client has expressed a desire of interest. In other words, we want the client to have vocalized that they are interested in considering a new system. This is an important step, okay? We want that vocalization to take place. When we've done the repair versus replace and we've done it well, chances are very good that that stimulation is going to be built. We're going to close that question out to make sure that we have an indication of desire. The client knows that you are talking about replacing the system with a new one, and they have expressed a desired interest. All right? Number 3, we want to make sure that we build up the rep that's coming after, whether that's a salesperson, comfort advisor, senior technician, whatever your language is at your company, okay, team? We want to make sure that we build that rep up. They got a lot of trust with you, the lead setting technician. You've done a great job, or you wouldn't be at this part in the conversation. Make sure that they understand that the person that's coming out is going to do a great job. They're a tremendous person. They will really value them, all right? So make sure you build that up. Once that's done, you've got confirmation. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that this appointment is set properly. And to me, the indications of a great appointment that's set and set well is the following. You're going to make sure that there is a commitment to time. You're going to need an appropriate amount of time to do the job and to do it well. There is an old standard, and it's still a really good standard, which is about an additional 60 to 90 minutes, and that could take a little less, it could take a little longer. Usually it's going to take a little longer. But ask the client to commit to 60 to 90 minutes to make sure that this advisor can come out and do a great job. And also get a commitment of what I'm going to say is attention. So not only time, but attention, that they will be there and they will participate. It's fantastic if you can have both parties. Now, guys, it used to be an old school rule of thumb that that's the absolute only way that people would go out and see folks. And, you know, society's changing a little bit. Is it still a great practice? Absolutely, it's an amazing practice. Should you never run a call if they can't both be there? No, of course not, because I'm going to share with you, if your client has a busy lifestyle like mine, it's going to be tough to get my wife and I together at the same time. Impossible? No, not at all, but more challenging. So you got to be willing to understand that this old rule might not be the rule that we can stick to 100% of the time. We're going to do our best to have both husband and wife, husband, wife, whatever the scenario is, partner. We're going to do our best to have all the partners there, but it isn't always going to be guaranteed, but we're going to express that, okay? And then B here is we're going to book this appointment with the office. We're going to let the office get it on the record, let the office confirm it. And if you do these things, these are the wonderful things that are in your power. Great repair versus replace demonstration. Great desire of interest. Build up the rep. Build them up as a great person that is highly skilled, that can answer their questions. And set an appointment in an appropriate way. All right? If we do these things, what I believe is if this closing percentage has been negatively affected by one of these steps that have been missed, then it's going to start going up substantially. If this closing percentage is a byproduct of the rep, well then we can focus on the rep, okay? But to answer your question, Jason, in terms of average ticket, what I see looks good. In terms of setting leads, what I see, it looks real good, Jason. In terms of everything short of the closing percentage on the replacement lead, what I see looks good. I think it's numbers that you can be proud of. I think we did find something that we can probably go to work on to boost, and we will. All right, so look forward to us working with you and your team on boosting that. But in all, how do I compare? I would say you compare extremely well, Jason. Top percentage, all right? You're in the top 25% at least. We know that based off these numbers that you're submitting, especially with the lead set, you would be right up there. Anyone would be happy and would love to have you as a team member. So boy, I hope that helped you, and I hope that it gave you some motivation if you were needing some. And I also hope that it addressed some very base questions. All right, so Jason, there is your answer. Thank you for your question. I hope that this has helped you turn learning into earning. And if you are watching this either inside the community or if you're watching this in on Facebook or on the website and you have questions, feel free to reach out and ask us. We love helping people. And if you are interested in knowing more about what we do, then send us a message. We'd be more than happy to do a free consultation with you. That's it. Again, Todd Lyles with Service Excellence Training, helping you turn learning into earning.